What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are here at Monza for Daily Race C, the Temple of Speed, or what other people might call it, the Temple of Ramias. We're going to be starting off in the back with no qualifying time. Now, this was my experience a little bit earlier in the day when I was doing races around here. As you can see, just decent, clean racing, getting hit out right there, went to the wall, and doing a little bit of ramming ourselves, just taking people out as we killed that Spaniard. But oh well. Anyways, we go back into our race here. So we're starting off in P13, right behind the Frenchman of Sub. Let's make our way down the straight here, leading our way to the first corner on this 5-lap race. Spotting our braking point as we brake right after the 150 meter board. The Frenchman has to take evasive action, almost make contact with the Swissman, and we have a German making a very, very risky lunge on the outside that turned into the inside, and he made that move work. So we lose a position here, get knocked down into P14. But as we make our way now to Curva Grande, leading our way into the second chicane, it's getting a bit feisty around here as it's double wide up ahead. As we spot our braking point here, the Frenchman goes a bit late on the brakes. A lot of contact is made, yellow flag. Those happening everywhere. But as we make our way now out of the second chicane, we gain 2 positions. We phase our way through one guy, make our way now into Lesmo 1, get around the guy that just got absolutely punted and destroyed by the Frenchman. This gets a 5-second penalty. And we sneak our way onto the inside right here, the Frenchman to Lesmo 2. Not the cleanest move there, but I just felt like the move was on, and a little bit of contact, never really hurt anybody. And we make our way now up to P10 as we try to see if we can get our way with the Portuguese right ahead of us. So staying right behind Genovi here, we are staying in the slipstream as we make our way now into Parabolica, getting a really nice toe as we go into Parabolica for the first time, braking as late as we can. We accidentally just brake a bit too late, go a tad bit wide, and the Portuguese is able to get the old switcheroo on us, gets right onto the inside, and regain that 9th place position as we are now under attack by the German of Sunny right behind us. But he thinks twice about making that move and actually gets behind to the slip. So on to lap number 2 here. We make our way back into the first chicane on the outside here. Unfortunately, we get smacked from behind by the German, but lucky for us, we were able to just get the brakes on, and we get our way now into turn number 1 and 2 without any issues as Sunny decides to back out there. Not sure if he felt bad before hitting us or he had issues coming out of the corner, but either way, he backs out right at the end of turn number 2, and we regain our position back as we now are up into P9 after falling back into P14. And we set our sights up for the next German up ahead of iGhost as we make our way now into a Scotty chicane. So into a Scotty here, we can see that the gap is getting closer or smaller and smaller with the 8th place driver. It's actually starting to get larger now with the 10th place driver. So things are starting to look up for us here as we make our way now into Parabolica once again. Missing our apex there, just had a very big difficulty trying to make our way through Parabolica. I'm not sure if I was just braking too late, if I was just braking too early, but just every single time we went to through Parabolica, I could just not get the timing right with the corner. And you're gonna see throughout this entire video that Parabolica was one of my weakest corners, and where we were losing majority of our time. But heading into turn number 1 and 2, that's where I felt like it was my strongest. You can see we gained a tremendous amount of time on 8th place here. Actually, we gained such a good amount of time that we are now in the slipstream as we make our way back into Curva Grande. So abusing the slipstream here, he's defending the left-hand side. We're gonna sneak our way into the inside so we can outbrake him here. Brake as late as we can into the second chicane, gives us plenty of room, and we are able to just sneak our way ahead of iGhost, get that overtake done. And now we find ourselves into PA as we get a yellow flag up ahead. Spotting who the victim was, is see there's a car trying to roll his way back onto the track, and it was the Brit Belfast ahead of us. And not sure if he got punted out or if he just lost it coming out of Lesmo 1, but either way, the result's exactly the same, and we now find ourselves into P7. So making our way now to the final lap. This race has actually turned out pretty well for us, especially because the races prior were just absolutely just dreadful. Just honestly not a lot of racing, more ramming and punting, like you see right there as GT iShark was a bit wide after getting punted out by the Polish man up ahead. And we find ourselves now up into P Steve, and we're gonna see if we can try to catch our way up to the Spaniard in the Nissan GTR. But to make our way into a Scotty, just wasn't really able to make up enough time on these guys up ahead, as the Spaniard goes a bit wide heading into Lesmo, or not to Lesmo, but Ascari. And the gap is starting to close up a little bit here. The gap was about 2 seconds heading into the second chicane, but it is now closed up to 1.2 seconds. But unfortunately, I think we're just gonna run out of time here as we try to break as late as we can into Parabolica, maybe capitalize on any incidents that could occur right ahead of us. But yeah, time is just gonna run out for us. And if this was maybe an 8-9 lap race, maybe we could have found our way up into P4, but we're gonna run out of time here. Finish the race in P Steve. And yeah, not too shabby of our first race, especially since we start off back in P13. I'll see how we do on our second race here. So leaping up over the pond, making our way to the Americas. This is actually a race that we did with a qualifying time, as we actually start off in P Steve. So it's like almost like we went from the ending result of the first race and just made our way here to start off in 6th place. But as we make our way into turn number 1, you can see that there's a car ahead of us that just absolutely misses the braking zone, takes out one of the other drivers up ahead. And unfortunately for both of them, they lose a ton of positions. But fortunately for us, we make our way up into P4. As you can see right underneath that, Vario said he was sorry, but damage was already done. And I don't know how much that I'm sorry is going to weigh here, especially after just getting taken out not even 20 seconds into the race. But as we make our way now into the second chicane, we unfortunately just abuse the curb a bit too much, overshoot the corner, and we get ourselves a ½ second penalty, which is going to be very detrimental for us, especially because it's the first lap. But hopefully, just hopefully, we can build ourselves enough of a gap from the Canadian behind us so that when we have to serve our penalty, we don't lose a position, nor do we get involved in any of the chaos or the shenanigans that's going to be occurring right behind us. So making our way out of Ascari, the gap is 1.5 seconds away from the Canadian as we now serve our penalty. And looking back here, I'm just keeping an eye to see if they're catching up enough to make an overtake into Parabolica. But lucky for us, everything worked out fine. We didn't lose too much ground. The cars up ahead, we didn't get overtaken heading into Parabolica, so we were able to retain our 4th place position as we make our way back into the first chicane. So into the first chicane here now on lap number 3. Nothing really happened on lap number 2, just basically just trying to catch up to these guys up ahead. We now close the gap to the podium, and instead of it being about a 1.5 second gap to get ourselves into P3, we have now brought the gap down to 0.6 seconds. We actually run the fastest lap time, or fastest first sector, there to get a purple sector, and just start trying to reel in P3, try to see if we can get ourselves into a position to go for an overtake, as we only have about 2.5 laps left in this race, and time is going to be running out very, very quickly here now as we head out of Lesmo 2. So off of Lesmo 2, we're just still trying to chase down heavy right foot as we get a really great run out of Ascari. We're now back in the slipstream as we make our way into Parabolica, and you can see right here that we just could not get the corner right. We just have been struggling all day with the corner, braking too late, braking too early, and just missing our apex every single time we go into the corner. And due to that, it just really messes up the exit of the corner, and ruins our run down the straight, leading our way into the first chicane. You can see that we're starting to regain that time that we lost coming into Parabolica, but it wasn't enough of a slipstream for us to just close down the gap enough to go for an overtake heading to the first chicane. But again, we get ourselves into the purple sector there on the first sector here, as we were able to get a really good run through the first and second chicane. But coming out of the second chicane, we just got a bit of a bad exit there, as the gap now went from about ½ a second to 3/4 of a second on P3. But up ahead, there was a little bit of an incident with the Brazilian Rosso Patrick. He got a really bad run coming off of Lesmo 1, and heading to Lesmo 2, he held up Redbeard and Heavy Right Foot. So now it's turned into a 3-car battle here for P1, And we might be actually in a good spot here to try to go for an overtake and get ourselves into the fight for the win here if we can just keep up with these guys. But heading out of Ascari, they get a really, really bad run. We're trying to find our footing here. We're trying to see which way we want to go. Go to the left-hand side. Try to see if we can outbrake Heavy Right Foot as he gives Patrick a bump there. And as we make our way into Parabolica, we're going to brake as late as we can. Try to make a move onto the outside. Almost get the move done. As Patrick squeezes himself right in front of us, we try to go to the right-hand side to get onto the inside of Patrick, but doesn't work out there as Patrick goes to the right-hand side, gives the slipstream to Heavy Right Foot, and Heavy Right Foot's able to just get a great run down the straight and gets an overtake on us. But as we head down into the first, she can make a little bit of contact with Heavy Right Foot, not enough to send him flying, luckily. And as we make our way out of the second chicane, it's still a 3-car battle for this P2 as Redbeard is now starting to pull away here. So we really have to get around these guys as soon as possible if we're going to try to go for a win here, especially because there's literally just 1 lap left in this race. So things starting to heat up here on the final lap as Rosso goes for the defensive move into the second chicane. Heavy Right Foot gets a very bad exit there, as well as Patrick. And Heavy Right Foot tries to go to the outside, makes something happen here heading to Lesmo 1, but is unable to do so here. So we're just following along in the slip. Make our way now into Lesmo 2 for the final time. Heavy Right Foot goes a bit wide, dips 2 wheels into the sand, gets a very bad exit, almost takes us out. And now we find ourselves in the podium, trying to catch up to Patrick as we get one last attempt here heading into Parabolica, but unfortunately, we were just a far bit too back, and we couldn't get a really great run off of Ascari. And down to the line to finish the race off here. Patrick's going to finish this race in P2. Redbeard gets the win, and we find ourselves from P6 all the way up into the podium. And that was a very great race with Heavy Right Foot, Patrick, and Redbeard, as we were all racing very hard, but still very respectful and very clean. Yeah, it's a very interesting daily race combination here at Monza, especially because it's just a lot of ramming, especially going into turn number 1 and the second chicane. So yeah, it was just a lot of frustration the first couple of races, but when you get really good drivers that race cleanly, it can be a ton of fun here at Monza. But let me know how it was for you guys here on this daily race. If you guys really enjoyed the video, feel free to smash that like button, help us out in the YouTube algorithm, or smash that subscribe button down below and be a part of the crew here. But anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Until next time, peace.